Hey Bear Climbers, welcome to another weekly episode. If I sound a little off today, I've been welding all day, and so I feel like my head's up here somewhere. But anyway, today we're going to show you how to tie together ropes for rappel. If you're going to tie two ropes together for rappel, or tying ropes, tubular webbing if you're going to do make some slings or maybe some rope to make a sling. We'll get into that today. A few announcements. If you want to get straight into the knots, you could I'll put a time link right here. You just scroll right over past my intro and everything and go straight to the knots. But if you want to hear some announcements, first of all, spring is here. It's almost warm enough to take this jacket off. Actually, you know what? It's time to take this jacket off. Goodbye, old friend. I'll see you next year. Damn it! Well, I guess wearing it a little longer won't be so bad. So anyway, a couple other announcements is we're almost at 500. Well, I guess we're halfway to 500 now, which is awesome. Thank you all for subscribing. I guess I'll do a Q&A at 500 or a special video and maybe a small giveaway, something like that. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. It's hard to say that 5 times fast. Another thing is the weather's getting warm enough that I can take my camera equipment outside, so we go do some vlogs again and some climbing guides, which I really wanted to get into. Which is basically why I started this whole thing, why we're called beta climbers. I want to give you guys some beta out there. Besides that, let's get into the knots for today. Let me grab the table and let's roll the intro. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is how to tie two climbing ropes together in case you want to do a rappel or something. Why would you do that? Well, if you had two ropes, let's say if you're climbing with, let's say you're pulling a threesome, you're climbing with two people, and you have them on both different ropes and you're pulling them up, and then when it's time to rappel, you could have them rappel down on, to have the two lines tied together, and then if they're tied together, you can rappel twice as long and you don't have to bend the rope in half and rappel that way. So basically, long story short, you rappel a lot further down. So yeah, so I'm gonna show you how to tie two ropes together. Okay, so there's basically 3 different ways I would do it. And I'll show you my preferred method as usual last, I suppose. In fact, I'd probably use either one of these depending on who I'm climbing with. If I'm climbing with somebody that gets particularly scared, I'd probably... Anyway, let's get into it. I'll show you. So one way I wouldn't do it, but is one way to do it, is a knot I've showed you guys a couple times, which is the double fisherman's, which is like this. You go once, twice, and then through here, right through there. And then you're going to do the same thing for this end. You go once, twice, and through there, just like that. These are going to cinch up nice and tight, and then these are going to come together. Now, why wouldn't I do this knot? I wouldn't prefer this knot because under a heavy load, man, these knots sure do get tight. And also, I think it's more liable to get stuck on things because it's in line with the rope, so it's easier to get stuck on things. So I really wouldn't do it this way, but this is a way to do it. So here's another method. I'll untie this real quick. Okay, method 2, the Euro death knot. Well, don't let it scare you too much. I mean, people do get scared of this knot, and that's why it's called the Euro death knot, because let me show you why it's scary, and I'll do what you probably never should ever do with it, is just kind of not cinch it down very tight, and just do that and give it no tail at all. And once you load this, it actually kind of, let me see if I can pull it hard enough. It'll actually start to roll like that, and it could roll, once you load it a lot, it could roll like this, and the tail gets eaten up and then could come undone like that. So how do you prevent that from happening? And maybe that has happened, is you actually give this tail a lot more tail. So you give it about, you know, hey, the more scared you have, the more tail you give it, right? Well, I'd give it about maybe like, I don't know, 2 foot, a foot, something like that. And what's great about this knot, it's not its name, but what's great about this knot is, well, first of all, make sure you tie it right. I should say this, is just make sure it's dressed really tightly, and maybe even before you rappel on it, is you give it your weight, you put your weight on it, and just get it really, really tight. So what's really good about this knot is when it's coming over an edge or something, it doesn't want to get stuck. It wants to like roll like this right over things. So I mean, it really doesn't have a tendency of getting stuck on things like that double fisherman would. And it's actually kind of amazing to watch it when someone pulls the rope down. You could see like that knot just kind of roll like this and go right over an edge and come down. And having your rope stuck is not fun. I think we've all been there if we've been climbing for long enough. So let me show you a method. Another method of tying it together that I would tie if I was with someone that saw me tie this and then maybe got freaked out. So I ain't rappelling on that. So let me show you another method. Okay, here's probably the most bomber method. I don't know what the likeliness of it getting stuck is, but I guess it's maybe even higher than the double fisherman, or it could be equal to. So anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to tie a figure 8 like this, and then you're going to do a follow through figure 8 with the other rope. If you don't know how to do a figure 8, I have a whole figure 8 video. I'll link it over here somewhere. And okay, so we're going to follow it through here. Follow it through, follow it through. This is how we do when we follow it through. Hey, okay. So let me give it a lot more tail than that, because we're gonna make this uber bomber. Okay. So once you do that, now we're gonna back it up with a double fisherman on this side and on this side, just like that. Oh baby, look at that. Man, is that going anywhere? I don't know, I don't think so. That's pretty bomber. Okay, so this is for the person that wants the most bomber tied together ropes. Okay, so now I'll show you a couple ways to tie together things for slings and things like that. So let's get into that. Okay, so here's the preferred way you would tie some tubular webbing together if you're going to do a sling or something like that. Or you'd see this tied around a tree, maybe like a few of these tied around a tree with some of those aluminum rings, so people will rappel right off of those. So here's how you tie tubular webbing together. It's called a water knot. And what you do is you just do an overhand like this. Okay, give yourself some tail. Maybe 6 inches of tail, something like that. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna follow it. You're gonna follow it through here, just like you would do like a figure 8 or anything like that. You just follow it through, and you're just gonna follow it around. It's gonna chase itself, just like that, all the way around. It's just following it, staying parallel with it the whole time, and then popping right out. And then cinching it up, and that's a water knot, and that gets really tight. When it's loaded, man, that's a pain in the butt to get out. But yeah, that's a really good knot, and that's a water knot, and that's how you tie together something like you're gonna make a sling or anything like that. So that's the water knot. Here's a piece of rope that's not climbing rope size. It's a little bit thinner. I think this might be 8 or something. Yeah, maybe an 8 mil or something like that. I'm not going to make you watch you tie a double fisherman again. I've done it so many times, but this is a preferred method you tie if you want to make a sling instead of a water knot. A double fisherman is great for making a sling like this. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today's video. Let's wrap it up. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. If you liked it, like. If you really liked it, subscribe. Here's my Instagram and Joshua Perry climbing out of this one. I'll see you guys all next week for another video.